Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for The Amazing Spider-Man issue 57. Ooh, and that actually happens in here. Tombstone and Spidey speaking while Tombstone's in prison, so let's crack into this. So we start at Rikers Island. Lincoln, you're up. Come on, move. 5 minutes. Alright, Tombstone, let's get down to business. As we pretty much see, typical kind of like block paneling as Lincoln kind of gets there talking to Spidey. That's just really nice looking. Kind of business we got doesn't get solved over the phone. Looks like that's going to be your only option for a good long time. We'll see. You had to know it was going to end this way. One way or another, it always does. Janice, that was you? I talked to her, but make no mistake, her decision, that's all on you. As we see it shifting between Spidey and looking at Tombstone. Everything I've done to you, and I haven't taught you a thing. You have no idea what you've done. What I've done is put you in jail. I talked to Jen. There's no way you're seeing the outside for Alonzo Lincoln. Get up. You've got one hell of a lawyer. You're out of here. What? You made bail? How? As we see him smiling and Spidey punching and cracking the desk. Michelle, you got Tombstone out on bail? Do you have any idea what you've done? My job? You put me and my friends in danger. See, you're actually attractive when you're like this. Better than your sappy, I don't remember being mean shtick. Is this a joke to you? You think Mr. Lincoln would have made bail if this was a joke to me? Getting him out is my job. I did it. I'm going to walk away now. You stay here, I'll have you arrested for intimidating counsel. It's like, fuck you. And Pete's like, screw that. Aren't you overreacting? He may be out on bail, but he's still going to trial, Janice. He can't do anything to you. You don't have to go. You think I'm packing your ugly green t-shirt for me? He's going to come after you, Randy. Me? What did I do? You made me fall in love with you, and he knows that. My dad's a bad guy, but he's not going to put a hit on his daughter. That means he has to get to you. Slam. Luckily, Spider-Man owes me a favor. As we see them deal, it's like, yeah. That would be the obvious kind of mark to go for. Gracie Mansion, home of Mayor Cage. I swore not to hold the law of New York City, and unless I want to toss that oath in the garbage, we have to accept reality. Until his trial begins, Tombstone is free. The problem is, people like him tend to do whatever it takes to stay that way. He'll go after the star witness, who, in this case, happens to be his daughter. Since he can't move on her directly, he'll be looking for leverage. That was Janice's thought as well. She's right. Randy is in danger. We need to get him out of the city. I think Janice should go with him. They see them kind of talking at Gracie Mansion. Hold on. The case against Tombstone is incredibly complicated, and Janice is the only one who can connect the dots. She's got to stay. Tombstone has united the gangs of New York, not to mention Digger and the Syndicate. I don't think we can take that chance. We can't. But there's no sneaking out of the city. New York's blue line is porous. Tombstone will know we're moving. We'll have to be ready for anything. So how do we prepare for anything? We send everything. It's like, true on that, Cage. We're ready to go when you give the word, boss. You think they're going to move them soon? As we see shifting over. It's like, oh, right. Yeah, still got a good few years on the force. You just make sure you're ready, Rabbit. About that, boss. Does it have to be me? Janice, she's my friend. And I'm your boss. And this is a job. We good? Yeah, boss, we're good. Where are you at? A place where I can keep an eye on things. And he's looking in at Janice and Randy. Goodbye, Rabbit. Bye, boss. Men like Tombstone think the city belongs to them, that the world they operate in, the rules they live by, apply to everyone. The problem is, a lot of times they're right. But if you play by their rules, they own the board. Very true. As we see pretty much a vehicle going on, Spidey on top. Davino, watch our 6. We roll in 3. Let's move. That's why we have to play by our own rules. Decide for ourselves who the players are. It's like, interesting there. How long do we have to, we gotta hold this up, Rabbit. I think you'll figure it out, Digger. They're on 55th and 8th. Copy that. Lady Octopus, full ahead. Our arms are getting tired. When can we put this down? You'll know. It's like, okay, so they're pretty much in a subway tunnel and he's holding up the cracks. It's like, oh, this isn't gonna be good, is it? So we pretty much see Spidey on top of that wagon, and then we see Randy and Janice. Something feels off. Well, we see Randy and someone else. Something feels off. Don't worry, Spider-Man is keeping an eye on things. We're clear up here. This is it. Full power as we see a subway train. Oh shit. Oh no. As of course Spidey's sense goes off. And then we get this really cool two-pager. Look out as it crashes up. This is really cool here. That is just gnarly. We dropped the tracks. It's fine. I've got Digger. Protect the truck. Fud. So, go, Spidey, go. Move up as we see Lady Octopus and Electro going on. Back off. That's not really what we do. As they're kind of like, this is kind of weird, just flipping around. Clear as they rip open. Looks like we already got what we came for. Randy, get down. Shut up, Janice. I don't have much time. Your dad, he sent me to kill you. You have to get out of the city. Good to know. I'll be sure to tell her. She-Hulk? Where's Janice? She never left. She's safe. Oh, God. He knew I couldn't do it. She's not safe. And I kind of like seeing this here as Rabbit figures out what Tombstone has decided to do. Bam, bam, bam. Aye! If he sent me here, that means he's going. Come on, come on, come on. As she's trying to get her suit on. Spider-Man, we've got to go. Tombstone knows. He's got Janice. As I really like that transition there. I wish I didn't have to do this. As we see him blood spattered, her with her pretty much mask, and it's just like, oh, this isn't gonna go well. Then we get pretty much this fan letter page, and someone pretty much not liking the run, which I'm fine with, and being more along the line of what's been going on with Ultimate Spider-Man. That's cool. I only want to bring this up because of the answer that Nick Lowell, the Spider editor, did. This is pretty much saying that I've come to thinking that Spider-Man growing, aging, and developing his life along with a reader in Amazing Spider-Man isn't the way to go. That belongs to all the fans and all the generations and should mostly be as universal, relatable as possible. That's a hard thing to do. You pretty much have to have various different Spider books for that thing, and that stymies character growth. If you don't have character growth, you're just essentially going to have a book that just status quo after status quo after status quo perpetually. And then you're just only going to get a certain subset that goes for that. Now, granted, I've been liking what's been going on here, and I can totally understand people wanting to have Peter grow and change and have different kind of stuff and get through without having continual status quo kind of reset points. It kind of works for certain kind of other ones, but I can understand why it happens because of the perpetual shit luck downward spiral that usually happens with Peter. Like, at a certain kind of point, you want to be like, come on, there's got to be a certain kind of way where he pretty much goes other kind of characteristics. They also kind of do the same thing with Tony, where at a certain kind of point, they just kind of like destroy his kind of company, and then he has to kind of rebuild and everything, depending upon what kind of goes on. But that's kind of part and parcel for Tony, continuously kind of reconfiguring and changing himself and changing his technology as well. And then you've got technology kind of parts that you can kind of introduce and do for that. This I just got was like, whoa. I'm not for the one dude who's like talking that he speaks for all the kind of fans. That's kind of like crazy. But seeing this kind of thing for Spidey, I'm like, then you really need to have various different kind of Spider titles to then fit with different kind of Spider fans. Because then if you're going to try and do a universal one, that's not going to fit with everyone. If you want Bachelor Peter, that's fine as a Bachelor Peter. But then you really do need to make sure that you keep one that has a Peter that grows and changes and does those kind of things. That was just one that I kind of wanted to bring up because I was like, whoa, 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 what the fuck? So we also get a Chasm Curse of Cain preview in here as we see this kind of crazy looking motherfucker go, whoa, and these other ones like, ah, shit, holy shit, shouldn't be here. Ah, can you rowdy kids keep it down? My lady and I just moved to the neighborhood. As somebody's grabbing for a mask, and we see Chasm doing his web thing. And the realtor told us it was nice and quiet. Oh my gosh, it's you, Spider. I'd bite my tongue if I were you, otherwise I might have to rip it right out of your head. The name's Chasm. The pretty lady is Hallows Eve. What the hell kind of shindig did we crash? Did we just crash? It's like, okay, that's a pretty nice art thing there. Then we see, not far away in the sewers, if I had known I'd spend so much time smelling shit, I would have considered staying dead. Figures that Ben Reilly would break out of the hell dimension and decide to hide out in the sewers instead of, I don't know, booking a one-way ticket to a tropical beach 1,000 miles from here. Chasm escaped Limbo Prison in the blockbuster Web of Spider-Man issue 1 on shelves now. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't owe Chasm anything anymore. Maybe he and I have circled each other one too many times as it is. As we see that there. And then we get a preview for the next Spidey cover. So, I overall really enjoyed this one. I liked seeing Tombstone be able to get out of prison, pretty much set up himself up, going mainly after Janice, which showcases what he has learned from Kingpin and going after his kid. And setting off his underlings because he knew they wouldn't be able to do what needed to be done. That was kind of crazy. Digger being utilized to have a subway car being used pretty much as a battering ram into a police vehicle was gnarly. So we'll have to see what Tombstone has in store for his daughter, how Spidey, She-Hulk, and Luke Cage are going to deal with this, and what's going to be going on with that. It's funny that my biggest issue was mainly in the fan letter pages of pretty much how they try and figure out what to do with Spidey. I'm like, I've actually been enjoying the kind of changes and everything that's been going on here before we kind of get to a kind of new status quo or whatnot of what's going on. It depends upon what lore and continuity kind of goes on. But keeping Peter in a perpetual state of shittiness definitely gets old after a while. Now, granted, this is the first time I've been on Spidey for so long. Usually I'd pick up certain ones here or there, but I've been actually liking this creative run and am interested to see how it kind of ends. And I would mainly just recommend to people to, if you find a good run that you like, artist, writer, everything that's hitting for you on cylinders, follow that. And then once it's kind of done and the next creative team doesn't do it for you, set it aside and then see what kind of goes on. Either collect it and trade back potentially at a certain point to see if the whole thing's better, or just wait for the next kind of creative team. This one kind of gets worse because it's the overall kind of concept of how they want to deal with Spider-Man's character. We'll have to see how that kind of works out, because it kind of sucks to have these kind of cool kind of changes and then just go back to certain kind of status quo of like, oh, Peter's broke. Peter's not dating anyone. Peter's trying to date people and just constantly fucking it up. Not growing and understanding and trying to change certain kind of things of that. All that kind of thing. I definitely get why that's annoying and why you would want to more see Pete with MJ, Pete with anybody, having certain kind of kids, having his own kind of success, being able to balance his life kind of more. It gives you more kind of hope on that kind of front. Whereas they really use Pete as a punching bag. Now, granted, it's potentially being done for pretty much all kind of characters at a certain point where they essentially shit on a character and just see how much they can take before trying to build them back up. But you need that build back up, and then having a kind of space where they're like in a healthy kind of place and what they're kind of dealing with. That doesn't mean they can't have conflicts and deal with fucking crazy ass motherfuckers, but you kind of do need them at a kind of better kind of spot. So we'll see what kind of goes on. We are 3 issues away from a new creative team dealing with some new kind of crazy magical shit with Doctor Doom and everything, and Ed McGuinness, and we'll see some more John Romita Jr. What's kind of going on, because they did tease that as well. Ed McGuinness really does some very good spider work. I mean, I've seen most of his, not most, the main stuff that I've known him for is Avengers before this, and then what his work has been on Spidey, and I've really liked his work on Spidey. I think he does a very good Spider-Man, and a lot of cool action scenes as well, with how Spidey kind of flows. So I'm looking forward to that, and seeing where they kind of go, and if they give him enough time to do some kind of crazy stuff. We'll probably get Rugrap back, since he seems to be very pivotal, Ed McGuinness, in doing stuff with Rugrap, so it's mainly down to the balancing and how the artists and the writers are able to, the writer, Joe Kelly, are able to kind of deal with that. So we'll see what goes on. Rugrap is a very fine thing that you have to work with. If you don't have the right dial in for it, it just fucking, it creates more problems than it's worth. So, those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.